Welcome to my artist research PowerPoint presentation on the artist Kara Walker. My name is Camille, and in this presentation I will be briefly introducing who Kara Walker is, exploring a select few of her pieces, and discussing the impact she has made through her art. Kara Walker is a well-known artist and educator who has had her work showcased all around the world. She is a Black woman, and her art oftentimes reflects this part of her identity. Walker boldly reveals many raw elements of African American history and difficult subject matters, including struggles of violence, sexuality, race, and gender, in her art. Many of her pieces are purposefully shocking and uncomfortable for many to observe in order to reveal historical, hard-to-see truths. For example, her piece, A Subtlety, or Marvelous Sugar Baby, displays a large nude woman in a provocative position, created with sugar and placed in the Domino Sugar Factory in Brooklyn, to bring attention to and reflect on all of the unpaid and exploited workers who were essential to the production of sugar and cane. I absolutely love how uncensored and raw Walker's pieces are, because it makes such a big impact on how viewers, especially the oppressors in these situations, aka white people, view the history that the art portrays. It challenges their beliefs and forces them to confront the past. Another piece created by Walker is titled, Your World is About to Change. This artwork is very large, has 4 panels and 3 main idealized imagery going from left to right, of a homeland which looks to be Africa, a boat which looks to be a slave trading ship, and then a chained figure kneeling in America, which looks to be a slave from the ship. The way Walker uses the materials, graphite, charcoal, and black acrylic paint, seem to convey the complex history that the piece is referring to, and how there are parts of the history that have been covered up. It looks to be a representation of Britain's role in the transatlantic slave trade, where American ships would transport African slaves across the ocean from Africa to America. I really like how expressive Walker's strokes are in this piece, and how they convey the chaos that occurred during this time in history. It reminds the viewer of how horrific these times were, and how these events affect us in the present. Kara Walker's work, that has been displayed in an exhibit at the Montclair Art Museum, Virginia's lynch mob, depicts the beginning of one of the many lynchings that occurred in American history involving racial violence. This piece is recognizable as a Kara Walker piece because it is created with silhouettes made from cut paper, which is what she is most known for. The Montclair Art Museum describes this piece as large, life-size, and curving around the viewer like a 19th century panoramic painting. These elements allow the viewer to feel more like they are experiencing the scenario in real life, and understand the traumatic events more personally. It is in an exhibit among other works Walker has created, helping to show a wide variety of much of the art Walker has created over the years. I find this piece to be extremely unsettling, especially when I notice how the perpetrators are singing and dancing in celebration, while at the same time carrying out purely heinous actions. I think it is important that Walker creates unsettling pieces like this so that viewers can better understand what it was like so that history doesn't repeat itself. Kara Walker's piece, Harper's Pictorial History of the Civil War, Annotated, is a series with 14 pieces in total. This slide shows the first 7. This piece is a recreation of the original Harper's Pictorial History of the Civil War published in 1866 that showed a misrepresentation of the history. In Walker's version, she purposefully covers the original imagery with silhouette cutouts of Black people with problematic stereotypes that represent historically accurate, traumatic situations that were left out of the original historical tellings. Here are the other 7 parts of the series. With this piece, Walker is putting light on the fact that many stories of history leave out horrifying details and events that were done to Black people, and that these scenarios need to be told and remembered. When displaying her work, Walker placed her altered version next to the original to play with the relationship between the past and the future. There has been a lot of controversy on whether or not it is wrong for Walker to depict Black people using racist stereotypes. My thoughts on this piece are that Walker adding misrepresented Black people to misrepresented history or historical events is a clever and ironic way for her to get a sort of revenge on the oppressors of Black people from the past and the present. Walker became famous and began teaching art at a young age. She talks with her students about the problematic struggles that many artists face of feeling pressure to conform to the rigid ideas of art that many prestigious art schools share. She encourages her students to use their art to challenge these ideas and change the art world for the better. Walker's art has inspired me to be confident, bold, and not afraid to challenge others' views and beliefs. Throughout her whole art journey, Walker has been inspiring and changing the world one step at a time. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for following along.